Brown Park Podcast is brought to you by Grow Clinics. You can go to growclinics.com.au/Brown Park to book a free consultation or for more information. Hello.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Very good. We have an absolute sporting legend on the show today.
Okay, go on.
His name is Barry Hall.
Big Bad Barry Hall.
Known as Big Bad Baz, but it's not really as big and bad as what everybody makes out to be.
Like he was painted as the big aggressive bear on field, which he was.
Yeah.
But off field, different character.
Absolutely. As you'll hear on the Brown Park Podcast.
The Brown Park Podcast.
I have a question for you. I mean, we always usually start with a question, but I have a question.
Okay.
Did you ever play football at school or any kind of contact sports?
No.
I am so not shocked.
I played soccer as a kid for, I think, about 2 seasons, probably much to the disappointment of my father, because my father loved soccer and he probably wanted me to play a lot more, but I just wasn't into it. I played soft cross, which is a kid's version of lacrosse.
Don't even know what that is. Okay, go on.
It's like you throw a ball with a stick in a net. I was always all right at basketball, but never played in a team. And as for football, a really good thing that my father always did was, as a kid, he taught me how to kick a ball. He taught me how to throw a ball. He taught me how to bowl a ball. He taught me how to hit a ball with a cricket bat. So I knew how to do all these things.
Yeah.
I was just shit ass at it.
Brown Park special guest.
So our special guest today is an AFL legend.
Oh, God, you and him are going to have so much to talk about. I love it.
Australian rules footballer, played for St Kilda. He's played for the Sydney Swans. He's played for the Western Bulldogs. He's courted a little bit of trouble in his history.
He might have been a little bit aggressive from time to time.
He captained the Sydney Swans to their drought-breaking premiership in 2005. He's gone toe-to-toe with Paul Gallen and Sonny Bill Williams, but only for a short while. His name...
Harsh.
Sorry. His name is the one and only Barry Hall. Welcome to the show, mate.
How we doing, boys?
Tell us about Tropical Fruit World.
I just rushed in the door, and as you can see, I'm all flustered and hot, and we're a bit late. We hit some traffic, but Tropical Fruit World with 3 young boys who are all very excited, but they're all crashed now. They're all sleeping in the car as we speak.
Right.
So,
what's it like down there now? Because I haven't been there, because I grew up in Kingscliff, so not too far from there, and it was there wasn't much there when I was a kid. Is there much there now?
Yeah, it's amazing. They've done a lot of work. Obviously, COVID knocked them about a little bit, but there's an old guy who's 90 who owns it, and he was there, and they've done a lot of work to it. So hopefully they can get a bit of money in the door and keep continuing to grow it, because it is really good. The kids loved it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the world down there too.
It is.
And how is life with 3 kids?
It's busy. Yeah, it's busy. Look, we probably don't have a real perspective of things because, without delving into it too much, I don't have a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
I guess. So if I did have that and I was away all the time, geez, it'd be tough on Lauren. I'm pretty active as a dad and try and help out as much as I can.
Yeah.
I can imagine with the guys with 9-to-5 jobs, or the guys who go away and work in the mines, stuff like that.
Yeah,
that'd be just so hard on obviously them, but their partners. As I said, we're very blessed. We're up here on the Gold Coast. We're living a good life. I'm trying to stay as actively involved in the kids before they go to school as I can.
Yeah, nice.
And then, once they go to school, then I'll start to do a bit more stuff and start doing a bit more money. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying being a dad. So,
have you still got your hand in the AFL? I mean, I know you watch it. I've seen your socials. You were at the Swans game the other day and you're cheering them on. Do you still do you still play an active role behind the scenes?
No. It's something I just sort of stepped away from. I was never a big fan of watching football, and I loved playing it. I enjoyed it, but I never watched it. And I always used to get in trouble when we get in team meetings and they'd ask me about a certain player, and I'm like, I don't really know who that is, and it wasn't being arrogant. I just never actively watched it. I've never really sat down and watched full games of footy, and I still don't. And people ask about my boys, are they going to play footy? And they don't see footy on TV. I don't sit down the weekends and watch it. So I took my young fella who's 5, he's the eldest, to a game on the weekend, and he lasted 4.5 minutes. He was like, "Oh, I'm bored." I was like, "Okay."
So you've got 3 kids under 5.
Yeah,
you guys are a glutton for punishment, aren't you?
We are.
That's full on.
It's so rewarding. It's hard work, but it's so rewarding. We love it.
I mean, I'm also, I know your wife Lauren, and I've seen the activities that you guys do together. 3 kids is a lot of work. I mean, I'm coming from 3 kids myself. I've got 3 kids, and I'm like you. I sort of don't have a 9 to 5, so I'm in the same boat. You get to spend a lot of quality time with them. But my wife has them very first thing in the morning, and she's just like, it is a friggin' madhouse.
And Lauren is very, she's a great mum, and is very conscious about keeping them busy and active, and making sure that their brains are ticking over. And so we're always doing something. We're always out doing activities, and she does a great job, but it does wear you out, absolutely.
And I mean, are you working now? So what are you doing at the moment?
No, so as I said, I don't have an active 9 to 5 job, which, we're very blessed not to have that at this stage. And before the kids go to school, we can be a big part of their lives, and I can sort of help out when I can. So it's it's good. We've had a blessed life, So you've got to be conscious of that. There's a lot of people out there who, both parents work, and they're tag teaming and trying to make things work. It's it'll be tough on them.
But let's just say, the times that you do work, you go and get punched in the head for a living.
Well, hopefully he doesn't.
As you can tell. When we do work, we work hard. So it's, one of those things.
So are you looking at trying? I mean, there's rumours that you're going to step back in the ring. Are you going to have another crack at it?
Oh, look, at this stage, probably not. You got to be a realist, and I was only really doing this because I thought I was okay at it. And
you were okay at it. You were better than okay at it, man.
Yeah, but I wasn't doing it for a career. This was for a retirement package, I guess.
Yeah, good job.
So money. It was because I was physically capable. I still thought I could do it at a high level. And money. Let's be honest. I love the sport. Now I do this. It's not about that. It was about the money. Let's be frank about it. And once I lost the last fight, I probably lost a bit of currency, unfortunately. And it's just the way things are. So I did get offered fights, and it was just for no money. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not going to go. I dedicate my whole life to it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dedicate my whole life to, 10 or 20 grand. It's ridiculous. I'll do something else. So that's sort of where it was at. Yes, a couple of other things popped up, but it wasn't leading to anywhere. I wanted it to lead. Okay, if you're going to pay me peanuts, 2 fights down the track, it's got to be a big one,
Yeah, sure.
It just they weren't guaranteeing it, so I'm like, okay, well, it's not going to happen. So I still actively train, and I do enjoy it. Yeah. But it's a money currency sort of thing, and it's something I probably haven't got the leverage at this stage. And that's life.
Man, there's a lot of people that would like to see a rematch, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too.
Yeah,
me too. Me too. But
I get what you mean. It's got to be there, right?
Yeah. And people move on and do their own things, and that's all good. But what do? I'll move my focus elsewhere now.
And I mean, I can tell you, if Christo wanted to punch me in the face for, let's say, $5,000, I'd let him do it. I'd take that payday.
I'd probably miss, man, and you'd probably hit me back, and I'd be dead. So I'd be all right. But I wanted to also ask, does that allow you time to concentrate on your cars? Because I know that you love your cars, man.
I love cars. It's probably been my number one passion since I could remember. My dad was a mechanic and into the old Australian muscle cars. And my first ever car, well, not my first daily car, but my first enthusiast car was a car I had on the wall as a kid, had a big poster. I got a little bit of money, and not a lot, but a little bit of money. And the first car I bought was a 69 Camaro.
Oh, nice.
I just love those cars. And I bought it when I was 22 years of age, and imported it from America, and I've still got the car now, so I love it.
Oh, really?
But I got a bit of a collection. So what I did, each time one of the boys was born, I bought a car for them, just so that when they're 18, I'll throw them the keys, and it'll be worth a bit of money. So
they'll sell them for $100,000. Yeah.
Can I just say, if my dad handed me the keys to his car at 19 or 18, I would have crashed that. So just be careful with that.
Yeah, I know. Well, I just wanted, it's more of a nest egg for them. I'm guessing by the time they're 18, they'll probably sell it and buy a Tesla. But I think, I just wanted to do something for them. Well, it's my passion. And the cars are going up in value. And since I've bought 3 cars since, I've got 3 kids, and the value of those cars have gone through the roof. So it's a really good nest egg for them. They can sell it and have a deposit for a house or whatever they want to do with it. It's just more of it's a passion for me now. I can mess with it and get the car right and drive it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
When they're 18, throw them the keys and, they can do whatever they want with it. So it's, kills 2 birds with 1 stone, I guess.
So which kid has the best car so far?
Ooh, which is the favourite?
Well, the problem child, the middle child, has probably got the best car.
Yeah.
But he is an absolute lunatic. If this kid's not in jail by the time he's 17, I don't know how we're going to go. But
so he's 21 when you give him the keys then, not 18.
But, he's got the best car at the moment.
Can you tell us what the cars are? Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, so I've got a 69 Camaro. None of them are getting that.
Yeah.
But Miller, when he was born, I got him a XR, so a 67 XR GT Falcon. So that'll be worth a bit of money when he's 18.
That's worth a bit of money now already.
Yeah. So Houston's has got a HQ Monaro 2-door coupe, which I'm sort of restoring now. So that'll be worth quite a bit of money when he's 18. And Samson, who is only 9 months old, but he's got a HG Premier, which is an old Holden.
Nice.
Probably going to be worth the least out of all of them, but don't tell him anything.
See, I paid $500 for my first HQ Holden when I got my license. It was a HQ Premier. It was $500, and I sold it for like $200. But I look at car sales now, and I'm like, oh my God, if I only had kept that and not crashed, I'd been an idiot. Yeah, that's it. Idiots.
Yeah, and everything with a steel bumper now is just worth money.
Yeah.
So where are you restoring them? Are you restoring them at your house, or have you got a place somewhere that you keep them? Or
so that's the other issue I've got is I've got nowhere to put them. So they're in storage in Melbourne, just sitting there at this stage. I've got a car. We've got a double garage here, so I've got a couple of cars here. I've got another car at the in-laws' place. So I've got them sort of stashed everywhere. But, we're looking for a property now just to, I'm going to build a big shed or look for a factory and put them all in. And but, ideal thing now is to buy a house that the boys can grow up in. So we're looking for that, maybe a little bit of space, a 10 or 15-year house that they can grow up in, and I'll put a shed in and I can build a little man cave.
You can teach them how to work on cars as well. That'd be
That's it, get nice and dirty.
And then they sell them and buy themselves a house.
That's it.
Brown Pop.
Hey, big thanks to Grow Clinics, who are constant supporters of our podcast. And what I love is that the further we get on in the podcast, the more people are admitting that they're getting their hair done.
Well, and the more people that I get hit up on my socials about what I did and the result and the questions that are getting asked are really good. And we're really bringing the conversation forward where men don't have to feel self-conscious about it.
And that is what I love about the Grow community. There's a whole bunch of guys that are willing to answer questions and support each other through the whole process. It's quite amazing.
It really is.
Now, if you've been thinking of getting your hairline done or it's receding and you're kind of at the point where you're like, I need to do something about it, Grow Clinics are leading the way in hair loss treatments in Australia and New Zealand, and they offer the most refined hair transplant technique available with natural results guaranteed. They've got clinics all over the place. Brisbane, Gold Coast, Melbourne, Sydney and Perth. But if you can't make it to any of them, then you can go to their website for a free consultation.
And I think if anybody wants further information or to actually see the process, check out Christo's Grow Diary. What's the address?
It's grow.diary.christo.
Check it out, because what you see is the real deal, and it's the whole process, and it's what you get at the end.
Absolutely. And you can go to growclinics.com.au/Brown Park for a free consultation or for more information.
Brown Park.
Now, I want to go back. I want to ask you about mental health. This is what we do with Brown Park is a lot to do with mental health and how guys get themselves into situations and then get out of them. And the one thing that I've heard is obviously when you give up such a career, like obviously, we can go into the stats of AFL, but you are considered one of the legends of the sport. And then all of a sudden that comes to a halt. and you have to look at the next stage of your life. How did you battle that? Because it's something that a lot of sports people go through.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sports people and, CEOs of big companies who were that for a long period of time, built the business up and then had to retire or retired, and they're not that anymore. It's called identity crisis.
Yeah.
I've sort of done a lot of work on this because I'm like, what's going on in my head? This is crazy. I'm very blessed to have the life I do, but I still have issues. So, it's identity crisis. So you've been identified as something for such a long period of time, and probably the highs are so good that you want to get it all the time and you can't. It's gone now and you can't get it back.
It's like a dopamine hit almost.
Almost, yeah. And you're very much goal-driven. Always had something to strive for. You get out of bed, you go train. We've got premierships to win. The routine, that's not there anymore. There's all these little things that really affect you. And, people sit back and say, you got paid millions of dollars for X amount of years and blah, blah, blah. Sure, it's not a money thing. It's certainly just a mental thing. So people who are high achievers and continually strive to get better and need goals and need that hit of adrenaline and, the highs are the highs. They need that. It's something they really struggle with. Professional athletes, it's something that I'm really surprised hasn't come up more. And I know a lot of people have struggled in the past and they've sort of hidden it. So hopefully sport gets around it and puts something into it, a bit more development and maybe a bit of funding for past players.
Well, I was going to say that, does the AFL support AFL players as they exit the game and give them the tools once they get out of the game? I mean, back in your day, was that done when you retired?
Oh, look, there's a players' association which each player in the AFL pays $500 a year it's part of a union. And yes, they do some great things with education and all those sorts of things, but there's certain things that they don't do, and this is certainly one of them. So since I retired, I hadn't heard or got a phone call off anyone from the AFL Players Association. I've spoken to a lot of people who've had issues, who've had drug issues, who had job issues, and just have had no support and haven't even had a phone call of, how are you going, how are you tracking? It's pretty much all about current players for them. Getting your right percentage of the salary cap for, paid for players. And that's great. But past players is, paved the way for the players that are playing now. So we need to look after them. There's been high profile cases like, Benny Cousins and guys like this who have had real troubles and no real support. So hopefully we can change those sorts of things and because they're certainly needed.
Because I would assume that as a young player, you just think it's going to last forever. And I'm not sure how the money comes in and goes out, but it's probably not on your radar when you're working through your career that it's quite a short career that you have in the term of your lifespan. Well,
I've been sitting there in meetings and you get past players saying, it'll go like that, boys. And I roll my eyes and go, oh, piss off your old Dero, But I'm one of those guys now going, it goes that quick and you don't even realise it.
And I can safely say this on the other end of a screen, but piss off your old Dero.
But yeah, it's I guess it's something, you learn as age goes on, but yeah, things don't last forever. And look, I have no regrets. It's got me to a great position that I'm in now, even mentally. I've got a great family, we've got a roof over our heads. So there's, it's not doom and gloom. Yeah. But, I would have done things so different to what I did do. But as I said, I learned along the way. I've educated myself. And but I'd love to pass that education on to younger blokes if I could. That'd be great because it would have helped me a lot.
So, I mean, obviously you had the reputation of Big Bad Baz and all that kind of stuff. And once you finished on the game, how did you get to the point where you went, okay, we were just talking about how they need to put something into place, but how did you get through it? How did you battle it? Because you suffered depression. There was talk of weight gain and stuff like that. How did you mentally get through it all?
Yeah, so I just wasn't being myself, and a couple of my mates sort of reached out and said, mate, what's going on? I wasn't returning phone calls. I was eating like an animal. I got up to 125 kilos. which I'm 105 now. So, 20 kilos more than what I was. Drinking heavily, drinking quite a bit. Just living a really unhealthy life, sleeping in, till 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And just, I didn't even realise I was in it. And a mate of mine said, mate, what's going on? I've rang you 3 times, you haven't returned my phone calls. I just didn't want to talk to anyone. I was doing my thing, not with mates, just by myself. It was weird.
Yeah.
And then I sort of snapped out of it one day. He gave me a bit of a hit up and said, mate, what are you doing? We haven't heard from you for, I've rang you 3 times. Are you, okay? And I was like, well, yeah. And he goes, mate, you're just not yourself. I don't know what's going on. Mate, you need to sort your shit out.
Yeah.
So it sort of snapped me into gear a little bit. And then the other thing that hit me is I went out one night and someone tagged me in a photo. I was in a pub somewhere, someone tagged me in a photo, and then it came up and got sent to me on Facebook. I looked at it, I'm like, shit, look at the size of me. That's
those photos are good. Yep.
That was the other moment. I was like, man, this is not me. I love health and fitness. I'm usually or generally pretty good at eating. I love training. I train every day, all those sorts of things. It just wasn't me. So it sort of snapped me out of it. I started to speak to a few people about how to change my mindset. And I was just in a form of depression, which I didn't even realise I was in until I was out of it. It was quite scary. So, it's one of those things that you don't realise you're in something until you're out of it, and it was certainly that. So I got a bit of help, and, just routine was a big one, going to the gym each morning, setting those endorphins off in your brain, making you feel better, started to lose some weight. And now I just started to get active and started to get some projects going, a bit of focus.
Distraction.
And,
a purpose. I mean, it's like when you lose a purpose to get out of bed, there's just no reason to get out of bed, right?
Absolutely. A purpose was a huge one for me. Because I'm a pretty driven person, and whatever I do, I'm going to do to the best of my abilities.
Yeah.
And I had nothing doing. I had no projects, and I was just rotting away. I was gaining weight. I was drinking my life away. And look, it only happened for probably a good 12 months solid. I was like that.
Yeah.
And thank God I snapped out of it, because, I'll be more than 125 kilos. And I don't know what shape I'd be in, but I certainly wouldn't be with Lauren and have 3 kids. I'll be a mess. So
did you seek external help, or you just lent on mates at the time? I mean, how did you get through that?
Lent on mates, and then I spoke to a few people. Externally. So I did have some help when I played footy about my anger and all those sorts of things. So I spoke to someone about how I sort of get back on track. I didn't even realise all this stuff existed, identity crisis and all these sorts of things. And everything that I got explained to me, I was like, that's me to a T.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Just triggered. Man, that's me to a T. It was good to sort of consciously know that was what was going on. Yeah. And then obviously, when you start to drift off now, which I'm very good at, if I start to drift off and start to get a bit in not myself, I can sort of catch myself going, hang on, what's going on? Yeah. So I can catch myself before it gets too bad. So that's probably where you sort of got to get to is catch yourself before it gets too bad.
And tell me, so you said you had anger issues. I mean, I guess watching footy, what's the difference between anger and aggression? So, I mean, when there's anger issues and then there's being an aggressive player. So is there a line that gets crossed from being an aggressive player to being an angry player?
Yeah. I was angry a lot. And it sort of stems back, and I don't want to delve too deep into it, but it stems back to childhood stuff.
Yeah.
Sort of
it usually does.
What's happened back in the day. And, it was also one of those fine line things, as you just said, is the coaches loved me being aggressive, but I was walking the white line.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd fall over the other side, and it's too much. So, yes, they'd like me to be right on the edge. Yeah. You change the game. It's we love your aggression. Blokes walk tall around you, all those sorts of things. But you're going to fall off that line at some stage or cross over it. And sometimes it just went too far. It was all just around anger. So it wasn't aggression about footy. It was just angry. I was angry. And I had a real issue if anyone had anything over me. I couldn't let it go. I'd remember it for years. Honestly, it was weird. If anyone just run past and bumped me, I'd remember it, and I'd have to. It'd annoy me till I got them back.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was just
it's almost a
weird
validation piece. It's almost a validation piece there.
I know what it was. Just couldn't let anyone have anything over me. It was really weird. Now I sort of think about it. I was like, man, you're a weirdo. That's not right. But
I don't know. I mean, I think
was like that for a long, long time.
I think there's plenty of people that I mean, I don't know whether it's called holding a grudge, but it's definitely, like you say, remembering what somebody did to you and then wanting, recourse for their actions, I guess.
Yeah, but even years later, you never forget that person until you got them back.
And did you feel better once you got them back?
Yes.
Good to know.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, that also goes to show your passion for the game.
Yeah, definitely. Look, and competitiveness is something that has been in me since I was a kid. So I'm very, very competitive. Hate losing, and if I lose a couple of things, I get real pissed, and I do anything I can to win. So it's good when it's good, but when it's bad, you pay for it.
How does that play into the boxing arena for you then? Because obviously anger and aggression would serve you quite well in that scenario, wouldn't it?
Well, you also got to be smart. Otherwise, you gas yourself out. And, my first and second fight were 6 rounds and 8-round fights. So, no one does that in the first 2 fights, which is a bit silly, but I did it. But you have to be. You can't be angry. You can't be too aggressive. You got to, contain your energy and box smart, I guess. So
it's almost a marathon, though, isn't it? Because you've got to try and last those rounds, otherwise you get knocked out.
Absolutely, yeah. And you gas very quick, and at heavyweights, and you get clipped, you're gone. So
and also, like nerves play. Do nerves play a large part of it when you're walking into an event like that? I mean, like the fights you did were fucking huge. Like people were watching them all over the country, and people had a genuine interest in what was going to happen. Is there a sense of nerves when you're about to step into the ring?
I was all right. The Paul Gallen fight I had, I wasn't nervous at all, which is bizarre. I never got nervous playing footy, and I went into the Paul Gallen fight, first fight, big stage, and fighting against a guy who's legit.
Yeah.
And love him or hate him, he's a tough unit. He's done a lot for boxing. And, he's fought some legit guys. And,
but don't sell yourself short, man, because you were a boxer to start with before you went into footy. So, you've got it there as well.
Yeah, I did when I was 14. So it was a long time between drinks. But, going into that fight, I wasn't nervous at all. And then I had a limited training camp. And then I went to the Sonny Bill fight. I had a longer training camp, way more confident. I was way better fighter. The improvement was vast, and I went into that quite nervous. It was weird. It was really weird. I'm not sure why, but so it's just one of those things. I'm not sure why I wasn't nervous the first one and was the second one, but
maybe it's because you prepared more going into the Sonny Bill one. I mean, maybe when you put that level of expectation on yourself, you get to that point and you want to deliver.
Well, the result. The other thing was, no one expected me to do any good against Paul Gallen, so the expectation wasn't there. So they see me against Paul Gallen. Oh, he can fight, and there was probably a bit of expectation against Sonny Bill, and that might be where the nerves come from. So you probably answered it for me. Thanks.
Look, I'm here to help. This is the Brown Park therapy session.
Brown Park.
Grow Clinics are big supporters of our podcast, and we thank them for it.
Indeed, thank you.
And I haven't said this in a long time, but I need a haircut.
Oh, you do. You're looking a bit scruffy there.
I've actually got hair that needs a haircut.
See, I mean, I'm pulling my fringe down now, and it goes down to almost down to my tip of my nose, and I never thought that was going to happen again.
Yeah. Same. And it's all thanks to Grow Clinics, because they're leading the way in hair loss treatments in Australia and New Zealand. If you're looking at your hairline and you're like, I don't like the way this is headed, you can now do something about it, including the top of your head as well, if you're balding from the centre.
The crown. Thank you. The crown.
They offer the most refined hair transplant techniques available, with natural results guaranteed, and they're located all over the place: Brisbane, the Gold Coast, Melbourne, Sydney and Perth. But if you can't get to one of their clinics, make sure you jump online for a free consultation. You can go to growclinics.com.au/Brown Park. to book in the free consultation or just for more information to have a look through it all?
Just investigate it. If you are concerned about it, just go have a look. What's the worst that could happen? Just suss it out. It may be the best thing to happen to you.
And the best thing is, and it's a question that I get asked a lot, do they have like payment facilities? And yes, they do. So talk to them about that as well. growclinics.com.au/Brown Park. Go there, get the free consultation or just for more information. And thanks for being part of our podcast.
Thanks, legends.
Brown Park.
I want to go back very quickly to 2015. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. That show changed your life forever.
It did. It did, and I nearly didn't go on it. My manager rang me. I obviously retired from footy. My manager rang me, and I'm not a big reality TV guy. I frown at that sort of stuff. And so he told me about this show. I never heard of it. He said, they're hounding me. They want you to go on, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was in a previous relationship, and that went pear-shaped, went south. So I rang my manager and said, is that mob still around? Are they still sitting around? And he said, yeah. I said, well, here's the number. If they want to pay this, I'll do it. And he rings back 15 minutes later and they said, yes. I'm like, oh, shit. I
should have asked more.
I sold myself short. So.
You should have doubled it, yeah.
So, within, a month I was over there and in South Africa and doing this show that I knew nothing about. And, it's surprisingly changed my life forever.
Look at the smile. I've got to just point out the smile on your face says everything there.
It sounds like Africa was very good to you, Baz.
Yes, it was. Look, the show was good in the end. I probably went in there with no real expectations, and then even from an audience point of view. So I was more relatable for a lot of people who didn't watch football. They see me in there, I'm like this, I'm pretty cruisy. I'm certainly not angry, I don't want to hit you, none of that sort of stuff.
Not yet.
Yeah. They've seen a different side of me. So it sort of opened up a new audience for me to almost engage with outside of, everyday life. It was quite enjoyable to talk to people who don't actively watch footy. So it was really good. And then obviously meeting my wife, Lauren, in there was... it's reality TV can't be that
bad. So who left first, you or Lauren?
Lauren left first.
Did she? So she bailed first, okay.
Yeah, Lauren left first. I'd stayed there till the end, and I came runner up to Freddie Flintoff. So but it was an enjoyable experience. But I never ever thought, and even after that, Lauren left. There was nothing, like no interest. I caught up with Lauren. It was probably a year after. I was commentating footy up in the Gold Coast. She was up in the stands and took a photo of me commentating and said, oh, I'm here. And obviously didn't have a number stored, so I ignored it. And then thought, who's this? I've got no idea who this is. And then I was up there the second weekend and she did the same thing and said, oh, don't be so rude or something like that. And then we caught up after the game. And then as soon as I walked down the ground, seen her, and it was sort of something there straight away. I'm like, Like I wasn't going there for anything. I was saying hello, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, there was sort of something there. So we caught up, might have been a couple of weeks after that, just for a coffee. Once again, I had no idea what her intentions were, probably nothing either, but it just sort of...
It grew
into something, which was quite nice. Yeah.
Because you got along quite well on screen. I remember watching it because my kids love the show. And obviously they grew up watching Lauren on the telly as well. So they were kind of like, they knew who she was. But there were sparks there on the screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I never felt anything, but so there was...
Lucky she's not listening right now, just saying.
Well, she probably is. But she got bionic ears, I can tell you.
Yeah. Well, hang on, let's bring her into the conversation.
They all do. Lauren, come on to the show.
No, I'm kidding.
There was a scene that we were in the river, we're sitting on a rock. It sounds really romantic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And she was actually shaving my head. She was shaving my head. And then she said, oh, do you love kids? And I said, oh, I love kids. Absolutely love kids. But you got to have someone to have them with. And she goes, I would have had kids with you if I wasn't taken.
She knew what she wanted.
Hey.
And then, so that's quite creepy. But so that did happen.
And now married with 3 kids. You got married last year.
Yes.
Can we talk about that, or is it still too raw?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, look, it was one of the happiest days of our lives, and also with a sort of a sad twist to it, which isn't great. But so Lauren's sister-in-law, who got diagnosed with bowel cancer, was diagnosed terminal and didn't have long to live. So one of Lauren's wishes was that she would be, when she got married, in her bridal party. So, sort of at this stage, it wasn't looking great for Sandy, Lauren's sister-in-law, and she probably had weeks to live. And so Lauren organised, we obviously agreed, yes, let's get married. We're going to do it anyway at some stage. It's very important for us to have Sandy there beside us. So Lauren organised it all. And I got married in a set of shorts and a T-shirt, and Lauren was in a muddy old dress. And it wasn't about suits or bells and whistles or a big fancy wedding. It was just about us and about having Sandy there, which was, and to have her there, we did it out of Coogin at the sunflower fields. Yeah. Her favourite flower. And,
the photos are actually beautiful. I've seen the photos. They're amazing.
Yeah. It was a really special day. And poor Sandy she couldn't have a walk at that stage. She had to be carried to but it was just a really special day. And as I said, it wasn't about, fancy weddings. It was just about love and having Sandy there. And unfortunately, not long after that, she passed. But, very sad circumstance. But, the important part about probably the passing of Sandy is a legacy she's left, which was make sure you get your checks.
Yeah.
She was late 30s and wouldn't think to get checks at that stage. If she had got the early detection, she probably could have been saved. So we know firsthand that she saved probably 5 to 10 people's lives as it is, just through her message, just through getting tested, which is fantastic. So there's a silver lining, and yes, we miss Sandy very much, but she saved a lot of people's lives too.
Well, Barry Hall, thank you very much for jumping on the podcast, and I like the fact that we managed to not talk about football.
Absolutely. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. It was good to chat to you, boys. Thank you very much for having me.
No, we appreciate it. I just ask Christo some football questions. Just before we go, can we ask him some football questions? Because
Jesus,
he's quite the athlete, Baz.
Oh, is he? He loves it. Who's going to win the flag this year, Christo?
I don't actually know who's anywhere in contention for it. I want to say the Tigers, and I know that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think the Tigers are going to make it, but I don't actually know either, so we're both a bit stuck.
Hey!
Too good.
Nice. Barry Hall, thanks for jumping on the podcast, mate. Thank you so much for your time.
Enjoy. Thanks,
brother. Appreciate your time.
I honestly can't believe that we got away scot-free without actually talking about football.
That's good because neither of us know anything about it.
No, right.
Perfect.
I just know of him and I know the struggles that he's gone through. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to talk about more so than, the antics that he's known for on the field, even though, he is a legend and has scored so many goals throughout his career. And I don't even know what I'm talking about with this part.
What's interesting to me is that they can spend a career in AFL but have no training on how to deal with it when you get out of the career. And it's very similar to the Nick Owen podcast we did when the Army trained them to be a person but didn't train them how not to be that person when they got out of their career. And the similarities are quite uncanny, really.
Yeah, from the way Barry was speaking then, I think that could almost be in his future where he's in the perfect position to be that mentor to the younger players. So maybe he could.
See, how do you get through to him? Because even he said, look at this old bugger telling me what to do.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's always going to be that old bugger.
Yeah, make sure you follow Barry Hall. He's also got some YouTube videos up about his vintage cars as well if you want to go and check them out because he loves his cars. As always, thank you very much to Grow Clinics for jumping on board our podcast. You can go to growclinics.com.au/Brown Park for all of the details, or you can go to our socials as well.
Brown Park _ on Instas. We're on TikTok as well.
Or our website. All the details are up there, brownpark.com.au. We will see you next time.
Brown Podcast.
Scratchy laughter.
I'm cutting that part out.
No, you're not.